I want to first of all welcome you and say thank you very much for agreeing to chat to me today. As you know, this is one of my real life conversations episodes, and I'm excited to talk to you and let other people know the amazing work that you have going on at the moment. So I thought we would start with the very basics and essence of communication. Let's tell everybody how to pronounce Solene, which I know I've got.
Nice, you smashed that.
And then the name of your company, which rather than getting it wrong, I will allow you to introduce, and then maybe you can tell us a little about what the company is doing and the amazing work that you do and some of the history.
Yeah, so it's pronounced AIBŌ, which means buddy in Japanese. And the reason being, so AIBŌ is a platform that matches vetted young people aged 18 to 30 with elderly people in their local area for companionship and practical help. So the model, the best way to describe it is it's essentially anything a grandchild would do. And it matches young people in the area with elderly people for the practical help. Could be anything from helping with shopping, errands, technology help, light household cleaning, things like that. But mainly it's about creating genuine connections between younger and older people, especially how there's such a gap in generations, especially nowadays. There was a paper actually by Intergenerational England. They released that in 2025 marks the widest gap in generations that's ever been seen. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is bridge generations together, whilst kind of solving that gap between someone before they may need care or hopefully never need care, just having that additional kind of top up of help, but mainly also companionship.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And somebody once picked me up on saying what I'm trying to do. You're not trying to do it, you are doing it.
Just about.
Just about. It's amazing. And I love the concept. And I think it's what you just said then about the broadening gap between generations, is obviously people are having their children older, etc. It's an amazing thing, and people living longer. But the kind of challenges that you describe are so very real for so many people. What's your why?
So my grandparents live at the back of our family garden. And I guess it was just really random. One day, me and my dad were sat outside and it was summer and we could see my grandparents having, I don't know, dinner on their little patio. And I was just kind of reflecting on how lucky we are and how it's so normal to us now having them there, but how many people don't have that, or they don't have that luxury of having their loved ones so close by. And it just made me realize that even though they don't need care and they're very independent still, we are really close by if they do need little things, whether it's helping with the computer that doesn't work or the Wi-Fi's gone out, or my mum might do a quick little spruce of the house when they're out, things like that, that do end up making such a big difference to allowing someone to stay independent. And they obviously have each other, but there's so many people that don't have anyone and are lonely. And I think there's over 2 million people over 75 who live alone. And again, with what you kind of said before about the SAMA generation, so people who have elderly parents and their own children and their own careers, and if they don't live close by, that leaves just such a gap for those people that just might need that additional top up of help, or they might have care as well, but this is kind of adding another dimension. So yeah, it just made me think of, could I bridge that gap? But also I just graduated from university and I was thinking about all the jobs I used to do, which were obviously your usual hospitality things. But then I also used a few different apps that were kind of, so I used a dog sitting one, I used a barista on tap one. And then I was thinking, God, that would be so cool if there was an app where younger people or students at the time, I was thinking, could be matched with elderly people in their local area just to help with those kind of top up of tasks, but also for companionship. And then if I could also integrate that in that problem with my parents' age group, because my dad's mum, actually, he said that would be great for, but luckily she has her kids that live all really close by and they all, go and see her a lot. But there's obviously people that live further away that can't do that. So that's where the idea came from. I kind of merged my university experience and my issues as a student, like looking for part-time work, and then also that it was inspired by my own grandparents, because they live so close, and made me realize about all the people that don't have that.
It's so lovely. It's so lovely. So is as a buddy, as somebody that can go in and help, so you're between the age of 18 and 30, I think you said.
Yes.
You get to sign up and you are vetted in some way, shape or form. Are you paid for the work, or is it voluntary?
So it's paid work. So it's paid at £15 an hour for the buddies, and then it's charged. So we pay the customer, who's normally the son or daughter of the elderly person, pays, at the moment it's a fixed rate of £22.50 an hour, which annoyingly has to include VAT, because we're not care, we're not VAT exempt, so that's included in the price as well. But yeah, the buddy, the young person, is paid, and they also have to get a DBS check. We ID check them as well. And then we're there, for any, if they need to report anything, or from either side, we're there for that support.
It's really lovely. It's such a great concept. It feels just like win-win.
Oh, thanks.
I think it's amazing that it comes from your own personal experience and inspiration of seeing your grandparents. There's nothing more passionate from a business perspective than that kind of inspiration, and it really does shine through. When you're talking about it, you just light up.
That's good.
So what do you need? What do you want now? What's next?
What is next? That's a great question. Yeah, at the moment I'm kind of in this in between. If I'm really transparent and honest, I'm in this in-between phase where I'm thinking more, kind of the goal for what I'm doing is to create a nationwide platform that the whole of the UK knows about. It's the first intergenerational companionship platform, because there's nothing really been done like that before, especially with the intergenerational kind of USP of it. So to do that, I need a lot of funding to build the platform, to build a team and all of that. So that's one of my big focuses right now. But then I've also been operating, it was at the start, I kind of just put a post on Facebook to test the idea, because I'd read a few business books, and all of like the messaging was, right, first test the idea, as soon as possible, test it. So I just put up a Facebook post, does anyone know anyone that could maybe benefit from this service? And then within a month I got my first customer, who's still using the service today. He's called Aj, and he's great. He is in my local town, and he started in October 2024. So that was great, just to validate the idea straight away. But then I've actually not marketed it out using paid ads or anything yet. It was more just word of mouth and maybe a few networking things here and there. So I've got 10 customers now, but I've still, it's great that that's happened and gone on in the background. But now I'm kind of in this in between where that takes up a lot of my time, obviously managing that. And how we work at the moment is very much kind of like an agency, where it's me going back and forth between the young people and the customers and managing that relationship. But what I'm trying to move more towards, and how I'm going to achieve that goal of scalability, is to move more towards the platform and make sure that works in the way that I envision. So yeah, I'm kind of at this kind of like that sort of in between stage, if that makes sense, whereas I'm focusing kind of torn between both of them.
Oh, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. And I'm pretty sure that anybody that listens to this is going to say, keep going. It's amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. And as you said, you've had an idea, you've tested the idea, people are using it, and now all you have to do is scale it.
Yeah.
And then everyone gets to benefit. It's something that everyone gets to do. Why do you think the problem exists?
I think I actually think maybe it will start to change again. But the most obvious I'd say is technology, that it's accelerated so much in the last 20 years that it's left. I'm envisioning what my life will look like when I'm 80 now, with the technology that I've grown up with. It's probably so much easier to communicate or stay in touch with friends, or even if you move to a new area, to find networks through that online presence. Whereas the older people of this generation haven't had that. So when they are lonely and isolated, that's so much harder. Even using technology is just a complete different thing you know, to navigate, and therefore that makes them a lot more isolated. So I think that's a huge contributor to the fact of this widening gap between generations. And then also, I think just sadly, the nature of Western culture in particular, we're so kind of hardwired to drawn more to that individualistic culture. You know, everyone goes away, maybe moves away from their family, goes to university somewhere else, and then sets up their life somewhere else that they're then far away from their families. And therefore, yeah, when their parents grow older, then they might not live close by, and that sense of kind of an intergenerational household is lost. Whereas lots of other communities, which is actually why it's called AIBŌ, it's because it means buddy in Japanese. And when I was researching cultures that are very intergenerational still in their nature now, Japan was one that came up, and also Korea. So that's why I was looking up companion, friend, and buddy in those languages. But I think it's so important that, yeah, back in time, if you think way back in time when we used to live in tribes, the elders of that community would be, I read a really interesting, I can't remember if it was a podcast or something I read, but they would almost be like their equivalent of therapists, but obviously a million times better, because they know all the younger people in their village from when they were babies growing up. So then they would always come to them with their problems or learn from them. And, you know, as you grow older, you're wiser, so you gain your status in that community. And yeah, it's just so sad that that's like, so, you know, it seems completely the opposite now. Not the opposite, but that's so lost in our culture, and it's so needed. And that's one thing as well with what I really want to achieve with AIBŌ is people, like some of my buddies don't even have grandparents, and they actually said they signed up because they would love to have that relationship with someone that's kind of that sort of figure to them, and who they can share problems with or share things with that they might not want to share with their family or other people in their life, and have that other perspective and learn from them. And in turn, that makes the older person feel needed and valued for all their wisdom. So I think it's so important.
I love that. And when you first started talking about it, it reminded me of a conversation I was having with someone the other day, where we were talking about the gift of dementia. Obviously my world is a lot more focused on dementia than your world, but the gift of dementia and the learning you get from someone with a dementia is significant. It's so significant. And what you just said then about the learning, because we started off talking about chores and help and support and companionship for the person that's older. But the reality is this is so two-way. It's such a two-way relationship. And the learning, the understanding, and there's just so much to give both sides. And I think it's amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the learning is so key as well, even if you think of it on a wider scale. And again, like it's hard. Sometimes people say, oh, it's such a shame, you know, people will say, oh, it should be voluntary though, and it should, and there are voluntary things that do this, but to achieve it at scale, I think the only way I'll get so many people signing up is if they can earn a few, you know, money on the side of something. It will encourage more people to sign up who might not have been able to because they've got, you know, their studies or their busy lives or whatever. And then that in turn, though, will give so many more people the opportunity, younger people especially, to realize the benefit that they're going to get from being with someone older and what they'll learn from it. And then that knowledge that will be passed down to them that is otherwise just lost if someone's just sat on their own at home, who's got so much wisdom from their life that's just never going to be passed on. You never know, they might be matched with the next prime minister who they'll have said something to that has changed their perspective on something, and then they pass on when they grow up. And I think, yeah, that is kind of what I want to aim for with this. And the more people that then use it, the more chance of that wisdom being passed on.
And I mean, I totally agree with you. I don't feel that yes, it's a shame that it doesn't exist in a voluntary capacity, but there's a problem that you're looking to solve. And in the absence of the voluntary schemes, honestly, not working as well as they could.
Yeah, they've got the opposite problem, because when I've spoken to voluntary organisations who do befriending and things like that, they have the opposite problem where they don't have enough volunteers signing up, but they have too many people wanting the service. Whereas mine's the opposite. I've got 800 young people signed up, but then 10 customers. So yeah, well, you know, we've not marketed it out properly yet, but it shows that the supply is there and
Yes.
the young people are there and they want to do it. So
Absolutely. And I think, you know, everything that you've said about the gift for both sides of this relationship is so key. And I really hope that even just by talking about it and one new person listening to us chatting about it unlocks something for you, because I genuinely believe that you're onto something so special with this. And, you know, we all know that there is a systemic problem with care. We know that there is a systemic problem in loneliness in older people. And the whole way that our health system works, I don't want to get political about this, but there's some very obvious things that solutions like this might help.
yeah,
And I don't want to be political about it or insensitive to anybody, but this kind of solution has to get out to the market to see what it does.
what it could do. Yeah, what it could do. And also there's nothing in my mind when I was thinking about it. When I have asked other people my age or younger or think about the elderly support or care space, it's very cynical and clinical, don't mean to rhyme there, but and very cynical and clinical, but it seems very
that if you want.
tagline that. But it just seems so sad. And what the other thing with is why the intergenerational side comes in is I want to bring a whole kind of fresh perspective of new, fun, young people. Also, a lot of it is going to be the messaging I want to give with it is just because someone's older doesn't mean they don't want to do things that are associated with younger people. So like I was even in a conversation with, so random, but the manager of laser tag in Brighton. I was like, it'd be so cool to get some of my buddies with their buddies in. I call them the buddies, the young people, and then their elder buddy to come in and do, I don't know, a slower version of laser tag. Why not?
Why
or
not?
like, I don't know, going to, it might seem really extreme, like a day rave, yeah. or just like, that's kind of the when I can do the marketing and do it well, that is what I really want to push, is even if it's just hypothetical, like imagine someone on a roller coaster together or something like that. It's all about the feeling that it's going to bring to someone's life and the fun side of it, and just really challenging all those stereotypes. And then the younger generation, as they grow up as well, hopefully that will inform, you know, people that then work in healthcare, if they've had those experiences with older people when they were younger, it will change their view on it as well, and hopefully change the whole system. So
100%. You have big dreams, and I think they're so valid. And I can't tell you how much I support what you're doing. I am thrilled to think that stuff like this exists and is coming to life. So I want to wish you all the very best. And
thank you, Louise.
It's such a pleasure to chat to you and learn more about you and your business. Thank you so much for chatting to us today.
Of course. Thank you so much as well.
Take care.